One of the young sisters just asked me if I was gaming because I had this on. No, I'm not gaming. I'm not going to take up gaming at 66. Although, no, actually, the closest thing I get to gaming is doing my Babbel exercises in Spanish on my phone. So this one is. I'm going to start with Breaking Habits. I have our adventures with Hollywood are mixed and interesting, but I'm going to start with Breaking Habits. I'm going to say that the opening scene of Rob Ryan, the filmmaker, being on the farm with the sisters should be the morning he woke up and he came to my office to see if it was okay if he killed flies, which I thought was hilarious. Like, we're the Weed Nuns. We're not some kind of rescue organization for insects. When he walked in my office, though, I was on a chair with a fly swatter and I was whacking. I was working them like I could get 4 or 5 at a time, in a few smacks. And so he was. I came to ask you if it was okay to kill flies, but obviously it is. I said it's an obligation to kill flies. We live on a farm. If you see a fly, you have to kill a fly. It's the rule. So that was my intro to Rob and Rob's intro to me, and then we went on and made the film Breaking Habits, uh, and so one of the things I remember is that the closing scene of the film. Geez, I was so tired. I was so tired every time they came. But the closing scene where I'm on a cliff in Humboldt, where cannabis plants are being grown on this beautiful cliff, they have me do over and over this scene where I walk through the plants, smell the plants, fold my hands, walk towards the edge of the cliff of the sunset, and then just stand there while the drones are doing their thing and the cameras are doing. I just remember being so aggravated when I had done it for about the eighth time, and I was just standing there and standing there and standing there, and no one said cut. And I finally turn around, and they're all reviewing the rushes. No, they were done filming. No one was filming a damn thing, and they just left me out there and forgot to say cut. That pretty much summed up how I felt about dealing with Hollywood. It's sort of an abusive situation when you're the victim of the story. Anyway, so there was that. The film, the one of the things that left a couple things left a bad taste in my mouth about the film, but maybe it would be good for a script and the story, is that one, they cheated us out of every cent of money. They did white collar legal fuckery in order to make sure that we never got a cent. And they put the first editor on the film was a guy who's an NA and was against all drugs. So for the first cut of the film, made me look like total gangster. Um, what else? But there was some funny things that were happening. There were some funny things that happened. I mean, mostly it was stressful for me, and I was a wreck through the whole thing. But I'll never forget Rob coming back from his interview with the sheriff, and Rob had something to tell me, and he was so nervous about telling me. He was such a British ninny about the whole thing. Like, he was just he didn't know how to tell me. He was nervous about how he was going to tell me. He didn't want to offend me. He didn't want to hurt my feelings, and he also thought he was delivering really horrible news. He said, "Sister Kate, when I finally got him to say what it is, he told me that the sheriff has a mole in my organization." And I had to say, "No, Rob, that's my mole in the sheriff's department." So that that's how that went down. I thought that was very funny, and I have never forgotten that. The film won awards. One of our international trips we took was to Cannes because there was Rob won awards for his production of this film, and he was being honored, and they brought us in for that. And Sister Claire was part of it. Now, uh, I was really against them using guns or putting guns in my hand, but they said that they were only going to put the guns in my hands for promo purposes, and this is Salon speaking, the company that screwed both me and Rob. And they said the guns would only be for promo purposes. Well, that promo cost us banking. They started promoing about this film in January, even though it wasn't being released till April. And within a week of the first promo being out, the first like 60-second glimpse, lost us banking. I fought for 6 months and kept banking for 6 months, but I lost it, all of it, in June of that year. The film came out in April. I lost all banking in June. A year later, or maybe 9 months later, the film was being premiered in LA at a rooftop theater where the owner of the theater reached out and asked us if he orchestrated for the film to be released on a full moon. Would the sisters do a full moon ceremony there first and then would do a film premiere and then like have a party? These are where different stories come together. This is where creative writers should have fun because Rob Ryan's in this, Aubrey Plaza's in this, Sister Claire's in this. Sister Claire is behind the scenes building on a takeover of the sisterhood. Rob is celebrating there with us his awards and his film being released. And Sister Rosa was in from Sweden. I think Brother Dwight was there. So yeah, and even Ollie, who's in our music videos, was there. Um, but what happened afterwards was unfortunate. I did not know Claire was planning this hostile takeover. Because I lost banking, her banking solution was going to be to put the whole business in the hands of her in Canada. And it was basically the result would be a hostile takeover. I thought she was going to put my name on those accounts. She told me she didn't need to put my names on the accounts. She's better at managing things than I am, which is basically taking over all the money flow for the company and thusly taking over the company. I did not know this, so this is going on behind the scenes. So while she's uh, justifying her bad behavior by turning my character into a bad person, which when I wasn't, this all kind of comes to a head when this film Breaking Habits is being shown in LA because Rob comes up to me and whispers to me before we're about the film's ending and they want us to speak. They want us to address the crowd. Rob comes to me and says, Sister Kate, I am jet lagged and I had too much to drink and too much to smoke and I can't speak. So I'm going to go up there to be polite, but I want you to come take the microphone away from me. And I said, okay, I'll do that, Rob. So Rob starts to speak, and I come up and I say, Rob, give me that microphone. And Rob and I know what's going on, but nobody else knew what was going on. So to Claire, it was very offensive. It was like I was hogging the show, and that I was being I was being a diva, and she was very offended by it. And she never gave me a chance to explain what happened. And I never did explain to her what happened. She used that as an example for a reason to like catapult her takeover strategy. And then she justified it based on the fact that the Hollywood attention was changing me, when really I was just doing Rob a fat one. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about Breaking Habits. Salon was slimy. The experience was difficult. The end work was good. I mean, everybody liked it. I don't like it because I can only see the story behind it and the loss of banking. And that was our first of three big economic disasters against the company. So, but I appreciate Rob. I appreciate the work he did. I appreciate the fact that the people who judge films like this film. And certainly the people I know that see it never say it's a bad film, Sister Kate. It's a bad film. I've never heard anyone say that. They all say, "Oh, Sister Kate, it's really a good film. I don't know why you don't like it." So there's that on Breaking Habits.